Thank you, and thank you very much for coming out to this screening. In 2008, we had this debate in Sweden about this piece of legislation called, in Swedish, FRA, and it was a law that gave the authorities the right to warrantlessly wiretap internet communication. And the debate very much mirrored the international sort of outrage over the Snowden leaks this year. And we were really upset, and I decided to go to a demonstration. And it was at this demonstration in 2008 where I met Pétur, who you've seen here today in the film. Pétur was one of the arrangers of this demonstration, and he had called up my friend to give a talk, and we had a cup of coffee, and I was instantly really fascinated by his story. I was a file-sharing filmmaker, and it struck me as a story that I really wanted to tell. No, well, this is film festivals like to introduce me as this film as my first film, and in a sense it's the first film that has a little bit bigger budget where I could sort of work with an amazing team. I've done 3 other 1-hour films, 2 about Swedish rap musicians, and 1 about car thieves in Johannesburg, South Africa. But those were very much made in the sort of DIY spirit. This one was a little bit bigger. Were any of the crew present in the film that we watched? Not really. Well, the crew is actually me. This film was shot 90% by myself. I don't work with a sound dude. I'm quite alone most of the time. And yes, I'm in the shot. I'm in the film for 2 seconds, like this. But it's very fast, so you won't know it if you don't know who it is. No, but this, the actual filming was a sort of was very small. We had most of the film is actually shot by me with a camera with a microphone on top of the camera. There are some scenes. The interviews you saw were made by other photographers, and I was conducting the interviews. And there was a sound guy in the end. But you don't really see them in the film. Well, the film was actually financed with a hybrid financing model, using both the internet with a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter where we raised $51,000, but it was also the majority of the money for the film came from the Swedish, the Norwegian, and the Danish film institutes, but also from 6 public broadcasters. And they were the Scandinavian countries' TV networks, but also the BBC, Arte, and the Dutch VPRO. And I think that many of the public broadcasters really wanted to tell the story because they felt that it was an important topic, and it was a huge debate in all of the countries. And the tricky part for us was to convince them that it would be good for them to release the film for free online before they aired it. And that was we negotiated to make that, but in the end they realized that the audience that goes out and downloads a film from the Piratbay or checks it out online is a totally different audience from the audience that actually sits down Thursday night at 9 o'clock and watches TV. So the actual hype on social media actually gave traffic to the broadcasts, to the broadcasters, and it actually raised the debate and stuff. So in the end, we were all very happy with the viewers and stuff. Yeah, no, well, the thing is that, the Piratbay and most other peer-to-peer sites that are getting sued by Hollywood and and the media industry, they usually use their own statistics. In the Piratbay case, they did that. In 2006, when this case started, the media industry basically took the Piratbay's own statistics, saying, you know, Harry Potter part whatever was downloaded X amount of times. You owe us X amount of, you know, gazillions of dollars. So the peer-to-peer sites took away the statistics. They took away the way to measure that. So we can't really say, but we estimate that somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million maybe have downloaded it, based on how many people see the film and how much activity we had in the first few months after the release in February. So there's maybe 500,000, 1 million saw it on peer-to-peer networks. On the 6 broadcasters that aired the film, around 1.3 million or so have seen the film. And I think on YouTube now there's like maybe 2.3 or so million people have seen the film. So we're somewhere around 4.5 million people have seen the film. Which for me is this it's really an amazing feeling. It's actually kind of mind-blowing, and to know that this Swedish-spoken, independently financed documentary has reached that amazing amount of people is it's fucking mind-blowing. And you know, a lot of people were telling us that if you put it online, no festival will touch you. If you put the film online, no TV channel will ever acquire the rights for your film. But we proved them wrong. You know, I'm here, I get to show the film to fantastic people like you, and TV stations are actually buying the film, even though it's available on YouTube. Yeah, well, you know, well, 2 of them are, I guess, in hiding. Frederick is in Laos. He has another kid. You saw him get married in the film. He still lives in Laos, and he still runs large websites remotely.
But by not entering Sweden, does he sort of earn some sort of immunity, or what? Or is he? But is he being searched, or?
No, I don't think so. No, I think that the crime that they were committed of isn't severe enough for the Swedish authorities to go out and actually look for him. You know, I think that in the case of Gottfried, who is the Anakata, yes, the man with the beard that you saw here. I think he was. It seemed that the authorities wanted him for other alleged crimes as well. There was another trial against him just now.
He kind of seemed like the head of this headless corporation, or not corporation, I mean this community of...
Yeah, well, you know, there was never any corporations, there were never any, there was never any companies involved with the Piratbay. It never was never a company. And
not even a political party?
Yeah, that's something else, but that's totally separate from the Piratbay guys. You know, that's probably, that's an organization in itself. But I wouldn't say Gottfried was the head. You know, I wouldn't say Peter was the head or Fredrik was the head. I think that they came together with different skill sets and did this. You know, but it wasn't just them. It was a bunch of people as well around them. You know, it was a cluster of hacktivists.
I have a question.
Yeah. Should I just finish and just say? Yeah, no. I'll just say that Peter is somewhere. I don't know, and I don't really want to know either. To tell you the truth, I hope he's doing well. Peter is, but as much as Peter is somewhere in hiding from the authorities, Peter is quite present in the Swedish sort of debate, and he's sort of, active on social media and stuff. And when the Snowden leaks came out, he launched a crowdfunding campaign for Hemlis, which is an encrypted text messaging service, like a SMS service, but like, that NSA can't snoop in on, supposedly. So he did that, and he raised $150,000 in 3 days, I think, or something, and got a shitload of press all over the world. And also he announced that he is going to be running for the Finnish Pirate Party for the European Parliament this upcoming spring, 2014. So Peter's quite active online still. and then Gottfried is in prison. He's now done his first 8 months of the Piratbay sentence, but then he was also convicted of I can never remember the English term. It's fraud. It's aggregated fraud, an attempt to aggregated fraud, and he was convicted to, I think, 2 years, and then now they appealed, and yesterday I think they cut that sentence in half, so he has another year to sit in Sweden. Well, you know, this has been a great learning process for me, working with this film for 5 years, and I didn't come from the internet, I didn't have like an internet background or so I'm still trying to pick up, but for me, you know, the internet was my upbringing was copying cassette tapes. I'm born in the 70s, I grew up in the 80s, 90s, so I copied, you know, VHS tapes, Stanley Kubrick, Michael Jackson on cassette tapes, and then mixtapes, and all my sort of cultural upbringing, all my cultural preferences came from copies. You know, I know what I know because I copied stuff. You know, so when the internet came around, it just opened up this new world of rare music and rare films and forgotten stuff that floated up to the surface and that I could sort of get access to. And I think that, you know, the internet in a way also, the access to culture online gave me the courage to try and become a filmmaker myself. So I think that when I see these Hollywood studios going after young innovators like Peter, Frederick, and Gottfried, it hurts me, you know, and I think that that's also why I sort of ended the film on this bleak note, because I think that I think it's dangerous to sort of to try to claim that, you know, it would be better for creative people, it would be better for artists out there if we could sort of just lock the internet down and make it a cable TV station that you could subscribe to, you know. I think that's a scary thought, you know. I think that this sort of free, you know, open and really transparent structures of the original internet is you know, the sort of basic for this creative revolution we are seeing now online. So I would rather than saying something smart to these Hollywood guys, I would just like to show them my film and you know, see what it looks like when a 31-year-old person gets an economic life sentence, you know, zoomed in his face. You know, that's what I'm trying to convey here. That's why it's so inherently wrong to run after a generation of young people who are using these new tools to collaborate and to participate in culture.